The last dinner we shared the night I realized my friends never really saw me as one of them. We were sitting under the warm glow of fairy lights at Marlowe's Bistro, pretending to celebrate my promotion. The air smelled like rosemary and lies. There were 6 of us. Me, Nina, Chris, Holly, Jared, Tina, and Miles. We'd been friends for nearly 8 years, the kind of group that laughed too loudly, shared vacations, and pretended that nothing ever changed, except everything had. Because lately, every time we went out, I noticed the subtle things, the exchanged glances when the check came, the way conversation shifted when money was mentioned, the little inside jokes I wasn't part of anymore. And that night, when the waiter came by to ask if we were ready to order, Nina smiled and said, "We'll just split the bill evenly at the end, as usual." Except it wasn't usual. Not for me. See, I'd been laid off last year, and only recently found a new job. I was finally starting to recover. This dinner was supposed to be their way of celebrating that. At least, that's what Nina told me when she texted our treat, "Babe, you've earned this." But now, sitting there with a menu in hand and fake smiles surrounding me, I realized there was no treat. There never was. They hadn't even said congratulations. I tried to hide my disappointment. "Oh, we're splitting," I said lightly. Nina shrugged. "Yeah, it's just easier that way." Chris chimed in, "Yeah, no big deal, right? We all eat about the same." Except they didn't. They ordered $30 cocktails and appetizers that looked like sculptures. I'd planned on getting a modest salad and sparkling water, something affordable, something polite. But as I looked around the table, at their expensive glasses, their laughter, the way they excluded me even in celebration, something inside me snapped. "Actually," I said, smiling too sweetly, "I think you'll get the ribeye, medium rare, and the truffle fries, OH. And maybe that chocolate lava cake for dessert." Nina's eyebrows lifted slightly. Chris smirked. "Somebody's hungry." I raised my glass. "Well, it's a celebration, right?" The table went quiet for a second, then laughter returned. But there was an edge to it now, the kind that hides judgment behind amusement. Dinner went on. The wine flowed. The jokes grew louder. But beneath it all, I could feel the tension simmering. The small, almost imperceptible shift in energy. When the check finally arrived, Nina grabbed it like she always did, all smiles and control. She glanced at the total, then froze. Her eyes flicked to me. "Oh well, looks like someone was hungry tonight." Chris laughed under his breath. Jared muttered, "Guess she's celebrating big time." I didn't say a word. We split the bill evenly. Everyone paid about $75 each, me included. But something about the way they looked at me, as if I'd broken some unspoken rule, as if I'd taken something that didn't belong to me, made my stomach twist. That night, as I walked home, the air cold against my face, I realized the truth. It wasn't about the food. It was about power. They didn't mind spending money, as long as they were the ones in control of who deserved it. And when I took that control back, even just by ordering steak instead of salad, it felt like betrayal to them. The next day, the group chat was quieter than usual. Then a message popped up from Nina. "Hey, next time maybe let us know if you're gonna go all out." It kinda threw off the bill last night. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "No worries. I'll pay for what I order from now on." Separately, Holly replied with a laughing emoji. Chris added, "You don't have to make it weird, Mai. It's just dinner." But it wasn't just dinner. A week later, I found out they'd gone out again. Same place, same night, without inviting me. It stung, not because I wanted to be there, but because it confirmed what I already suspected. They hadn't been my friends in a long time. They were my audience. And the moment I stopped playing the role they'd written for me, the quiet one, the one who ordered cheap, who laughed off the jokes, I became disposable. Months passed. I started hanging out with new people from work, people who didn't care about who paid what, who actually listened when I spoke. Life felt lighter, cleaner, until one night I got a call from Jared. "You heard about Nina." My chest tightened. "No." "What happened?" "She got fired. Some financial stuff at work. Whole thing's a mess." There was a pause, then he added quietly, "She's been reaching out to people asking for help. She mentioned you." I didn't say anything. 2 days later, I got a message from Nina. "Hey, Can we talk? I think I owe you an apology. I didn't reply, because I knew what she really wanted. Not forgiveness, but sympathy. And the truth is, maybe I could have forgiven her. But as I thought about that dinner, about the way they laughed when I ordered something for myself, about how quickly they cut me out afterward, I realized something that chilled me to the bone. People don't betray you when they change. They betray you when you stop being useful to them. So no, I didn't text her back. And no, I didn't go to the reunion dinner they tried to organize later that year, because the real betrayal that night wasn't about a bill. It was about realizing that loyalty to them was just another thing you split, evenly, conveniently, and only when it benefited everyone else. Aitah for ordering more food when I found out we were splitting the bill. Maybe to them, yes. To them, I broke the unspoken rule of knowing my place. But to me, that was the night I stopped apologizing for taking up space. Part E, the cost of forgiveness. 2 years had passed since the dinner. 2 years since the night I realized that friendship, like trust, can quietly rot long before it dies. Since then, my life had changed, not in grand, cinematic ways, but in small, steady ones. I'd moved to a new apartment, gotten a better job, one that didn't just pay the bills but actually valued me. I'd learned to eat alone without feeling lonely, to celebrate myself without waiting for someone else to give me permission. Life was quieter now, peaceful even, until Nina came back. It started with a message. Hey stranger, I know it's been forever. I was just thinking about you. I stared at it for a long time. Her name still looked strange lighting up my phone screen, a ghost from a life I'd buried. I didn't reply, not for days. Then came another. I really need to talk, please. It's important. And against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her. We met at the same place, Marlowe's Bistro, of course, the place that had started everything. When I walked in, she was already there, sitting by the window, her once perfect posture replaced by something smaller, almost fragile. She'd changed. Her hair was darker, her clothes more subdued. The diamond-studded energy she used to carry like armor was gone. Maya, she breathed, standing to hug me. You look amazing. I gave a polite smile. It's been a while. She nodded, eyes glossy. Too long. We ordered drinks. She avoided eye contact for most of the small talk until finally, she sighed. I owe you an apology, she said softly. I was awful to you. I didn't answer right away. She looked up, face trembling. You were right that night. About everything. The way we treated you. The jokes, the way we acted about the bill. It was cruel. I just didn't see it then. Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I almost believed her. Almost. I wanted to say it's fine, to move on, but something in her eyes stopped me. It wasn't regret. It was desperation. So I asked, why now? She hesitated. Then she whispered, I need help. There it was, the real reason. She explained how she had been fired for mishandling funds at work, how her boyfriend left, how she was behind on rent, drowning in debt, and had nowhere to turn. I don't know what to do anymore, she said, tears falling freely now. I sat back, watching her carefully. 2 years ago, I would have pitied her. I would have offered to help, even if it meant stretching myself thin. But now I knew better. Still, some part of me, the naive part that still believed in second chances, whispered, maybe she really is sorry. So I told her I'd think about it. Over the next few weeks, she called often. We started meeting for coffee, small walks, catching up on everything and nothing. Slowly, the tension began to fade. She laughed more. I let my guard down. And for a brief, foolish moment, it felt like we were friends again. Then came the night that shattered it all. We'd gone to a cozy rooftop bar downtown. Halfway through our drinks, Nina leaned forward, voice low. I have a business idea, she said. Something small, but it could really work. I just need a little help getting started. And there it was, the hook. She slid a folder across the table. Inside were rough sketches, estimates, projections. It's a pop-up boutique, she said. You have the marketing experience, and I know suppliers. If you could just loan me a few thousand to get it started. I stopped her. A loan? She smiled. Only for a little while. You'd get it all back. I promise. Every instinct screamed no. But she was convincing. She talked about dreams dreams, redemption, rebuilding. She cried, softly, perfectly timed tears, about how she just wanted to fix her life. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Not because I believed her, but because I wanted to believe I wasn't as cold as she once made me feel. I wired her the money the next day, and for a while, things seemed fine, until they weren't. A month passed, no updates, no messages. Then, one morning, I saw a photo on Instagram. Nina, smiling on a yacht in Miami, drink in hand. Caption, "New beginnings." My stomach dropped. I scrolled further. Every photo was luxury. Hotels, dinners, champagne. No boutique, no business. Just the same old Nina. I texted her. No reply. I called. Straight to voicemail. Days passed, weeks, until I finally got a message. A single line. "You shouldn't have expected anything different." That was it. No apology, no explanation, just a taunt. I didn't cry, not this time, because betrayal hurts differently when it stops surprising you. I filed a complaint with my bank, contacted a lawyer, but there was nothing I could do. The transfer was voluntary, so I did the only thing left. I blocked her, deleted every message, erased every trace. But the worst part wasn't losing the money. It was realizing that I'd fallen for the same illusion twice, the illusion that people like Nina change. They don't. They just learn new ways to make their betrayal look like kindness. A year later, I ran into Chris at a networking event. We hadn't spoken in ages. He looked uncomfortable when he saw me. "Hey, Maya." We exchanged small talk. Then, out of nowhere, he said, "You heard about Nina, right?" I froze. "What about her?" He glanced around, then lowered his voice. "She got arrested. Fraud. Apparently, she was scamming people, fake businesses, fake loans. She even took money from Jared and Holly. Thousands." My chest tightened. "You're kidding." He shook his head. "Nope. Guess she thought she could charm her way through everything." That night, I couldn't sleep, because part of me wanted to feel vindicated, to say she got what she deserved. But another part of me just felt tired. Tired of seeing good intentions twisted into weapons. Tired of realizing that sometimes betrayal doesn't come from hate. It comes from people who never learned how to love without taking. A few weeks later, I got a letter. No return address. Just my name in neat handwriting I recognized instantly. Inside was a note, written in shaky pen. "Maya, I know you probably hate me, and maybe you should. I don't expect forgiveness. But I wanted you to know the only reason I came back was because I missed you. I didn't plan to use you again. But when you said yes, when you trusted me, I panicked. It's like I didn't know how to stop myself. I wish I could say sorry and make it mean something. I just hope you never stop believing in good people because of someone like me." And I read it once, then again, and finally I folded it neatly, placed it back in the envelope, and tucked it away in a drawer I rarely open. Not because I forgave her, but because I refused to let her ruin the part of me that still believed people could be better. Aitah for ordering more food when I found out we were splitting the bill. That question feels like a lifetime ago. Now I know it was never about the food or the money. It was about worth. Who's allowed to take, who's allowed to ask, and who's expected to stay small. And if there's one thing I've learned since that night, it's this. Sometimes, betrayal isn't a dagger in your back. It's a quiet dinner with people who smile as they hand you the bill. Part E. The confession she never sent 3 years later. I thought I had closed the book on Nina for good. The letter she sent stayed in my drawer, unopened, unread again, gathering dust alongside old receipts and pieces of a life I no longer revisited. I'd moved on, or at least I told myself I had. My days were full. Work, small joys, a few new friends. No more chaos, no more emotional firestorms, no more Nina. Until one cold November morning, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "You don't know me, but I think you knew my sister, Nina." My stomach turned to ice. "She passed away last week. I found something she wanted you to have." I froze. For a long time, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, dead. The word didn't fit her. Nina had always been alive in a way that burned, too bright, too fast, too much. The idea that she was gone felt impossible. Her sister, Elena, sent me an address, a small town 2 hours away. She said she couldn't explain over text, only that Nina had left something behind specifically for me. I should have ignored it. I should have deleted the message. But I didn't. didn't, because no matter how much someone hurts you, closure has a strange gravity. It pulls you back in. When I arrived, the air smelled of winter and wilted flowers. Elena looked nothing like her sister. Softer, quieter, eyes heavy with grief. She talked about you a lot, you know, she said as she led me into a small, dim apartment. Even after everything, she handed me a sealed envelope tied with a red ribbon. My name, Maya, written in that same elegant script. Elena hesitated. She wrote it before things got bad. Said you deserved the truth. I didn't ask questions. I couldn't. I just nodded, thanked her, and left. Back home, I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the envelope. It felt heavy, not in weight, in presence. Finally, I opened it. Inside were several pages of handwritten words. Nina's handwriting, still precise but shaky, uneven in places. The first line stopped my breath. You were right to hate me. She began by confessing to everything I already knew. The manipulation, the money, the lies. But then, the story shifted. When I came back to you that night at Marlowe's, it wasn't for money. Not at first. I came because I'd been diagnosed. Stage 3 lymphoma. I didn't know how to tell anyone. I was scared, broke, and alone. I froze. I told myself I'd just ask for advice. Maybe some comfort. But when I saw how well you were doing, how peaceful you seemed, I panicked. I thought, why does she get to have everything when I have nothing? So I turned that pain into revenge. I told myself it wasn't personal. But of course it was. I could feel my pulse pounding in my ears. She continued, after you sent the money, I didn't use it for Miami. That was real, but not for fun. I was getting treatment. I posted the photos to make it look like I was living the life. I wanted to make it easier to pretend I wasn't dying. Tears blurred the ink. I didn't want to believe her. Part of me screamed, don't let her rewrite the story. She lied before. She could be lying again. But the next paragraph silenced that thought. I didn't scam you out of greed, Maya. I did it out of shame. I couldn't stand being the weak one again. You were always the strong one. The one who stood up, the one who walked away. I envied that. My hands trembled as I turned the page. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just need you to know. You weren't stupid for trusting me. You were kind, and I ruined that. Because kindness reminds people like me of everything we're not. I don't remember how long I sat there after that. The clock ticked, cars passed outside, but it all sounded muffled, like I was underwater. I read the letter again, slower this time, absorbing every word. By the end, her tone softened. If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. I hope you're still building, still smiling that quiet smile that used to make me so jealous. I hope you never let betrayal harden you the way it did me. I took so much from you. My money, trust, peace. But maybe this one truth I can give back. You were never naive for believing in people. I was just too broken to deserve it. The letter ended there. No signature, no goodbye, just that last sentence hanging in the silence of my kitchen. I folded it carefully, smoothing the creases with my thumb, and placed it beside the first one Shed sent years ago. 2 letters, 2 different versions of the same woman. The one I hated, and the one I finally understood. Weeks went by. Sometimes I'd think of her, not with anger, but with a strange, aching compassion. I even visited her grave once. A simple stone, no flowers. I brought white lilies. Not for forgiveness, but for peace. As I stood there, I whispered, you didn't have to lie to be loved. The wind picked up. It felt like the world exhaled. That night, back home, I cooked dinner for myself, pasta, wine. The same quiet meal I'd made countless times before. And when the bill of life came due, when I thought of every betrayal, every one that shaped me, I realized something. Betrayal doesn't always come from cruelty. Sometimes it's born from fear, the kind that turns love into self-destructs. Nina's story ended long before she learned how to love herself. But mine didn't. Because now I finally understood the real cost of forgiveness. Not giving it to the person who hurt you, but giving it to yourself, forever letting their shadow dim your light.